Welcome to Kung Fu Panda. It starts out with the main character Po the Panda having a dream about being a legendary Kung Fu warrior with mad skills who's friends with the Furious Five, the greatest Kung Fu warriors in all of China! But then he wakes up and it turns out he's just a fat loser who's a mega Kung Fu fan, goes down to help his goose dad or duck dad or, I don't know, father of feathery avian nature in their noodle shop, lies to him about what dream he was having. He tells him he was having a dream about noodles. His dad is stoked about that and puts him to work. Then we zoom over to the Jade Palace where Master Shifu is training the Furious Five, then goes over to meet his master and creator of Kung Fu, super old and wise turtle dude, Master Oogway, who's also kind of a troll, let's be honest, because look at this. You could have just asked him to do that from the beginning instead of being a slow troll dickhead like that. Anyway, he tells Master Fushi that he had a vision of Tai Lung, this super dangerous menace to society, escaping from his super secure prison and coming back to destroy shit and do revenge stuff. So she's like, that's impossible. So Oogway responds with,
nothing is impossible.
Shifu then orders this messenger goose to fly over to Tai Lung's prison and tell them to double the guards, double security, double everything, because they gotta do something to stop this, and ironically by sending the goose, he sort of is the one that facilitated this escape, you'll see how. Anyway, Oogway tells him that won't do shit, and only the Dragon Warrior, who is the only person worthy enough to read the Dragon Scroll, will be able to defeat him. So she was like, but who's worthy, master, of this great honor to read the Dragon Scroll? Don't know. So in order to choose the Dragon Warrior, they hold a competition between the Furious Five to show off their skills so Oogway can choose one of them to be the Dragon Warrior. And they invite the whole valley to come watch this event. And you'd think they'd take at least a day to prepare everything, but no, the banners for that shit go up lickety split instantly. Same day shipping, you feel me? But whatever, they're in a rush and I guess they had the celebration competition stuff on hand. Also animation kids movie, so who cares? Po sees this and he's super excited, so he tells all these bitches to go and watch it with a continuity error happening here because he exits the shot from right to left, but then he appears in the next shot from left to right. But whatever, there's a bunch of these in here. Not enough for me to make a counter about them, but enough for me to want to mention them, and I will. Fuck you. Po wants to go watch too, but his dad wants him to take a noodle cart with him to go sell noodles, and Po can't say no to his puppy goose dog eyes, so he takes it with him, but eventually leaves it at the base of these 10,000 steps up to the palace because he's a fat then claws his way up just in time for the Dragon Warrior ceremony or competition or tournament, I don't know what the fuck this is called, to start and for the doors to shut on his face. He tries to open them, but the doors must be locked or something, then tries to watch, but barely is able to see what's happening.
1,000 tongues of fire.
1,000? That's not 1,000, it's more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm not counting all that, but it's like 35 or some shit, alright? Anyway, he tries to get in using various methods, all ending up in miserable failure. And after his final tree slingshot attempt, Oogway gets a tingle in his butthole and is like, I sense the Dragon Warrior is among us, so Fushi announces that the Dragon Warrior is about to be chosen. Po, who landed in some fireworks, hears this and makes a makeshift rocket chair using the fireworks, while Master Oogway Kung Frolics his way down the stairs. Po's dad arrives like, the fuck are you doing? Tries to put out the fireworks, but Po tells him that he didn't dream about noodles, he dreamed about Kung Fu and he loves it. Then the delayed action fireworks launch him into the wall and into the sky. What goes up must come down, however, and he falls down onto the ground unharmed because he's a big fat animation panda between Oogway and the Five, with Oogway pointing at him and announcing that the universe has brought them the Dragon Warrior, which is Po, and everyone is surprised as fuck because they were sure he was about to point at Tigress. He gets taken away on like a royal carrier thing. He's too heavy for the burst to carry him, so some pigs come along to lift him with the geese still hanging on, which is a funny comedic effect thing, but just let go at this point, you liptards. You're actually making it more difficult to carry now. Also, how did Po's dad open the gates if he couldn't? Doesn't matter. Po gets dumped out into the palace, and after drooling all over the Kung Fu artifacts and breaking this vase full of souls because Master Shifu startled him by magically Kung Fu appearing behind him, he talks to him while lots of continuity errors happen with this broken vase behind him, ends up holding him in a legendary, very secretive, whooshy finger hold, telling him he can't get the Dragon Scroll unless he masters Kung Fu, and even though Oogway chose you to be the Dragon Warrior, after I'm done with you, you're gonna wish he didn't. Po takes this as tough love motivation, but Master Shifu clearly doesn't think he's the Dragon Warrior and thinks he was chosen by accident and by mistake. He takes him to the dojo with lots of obstacle course training tools, and after getting beat up by a children's training doll, which is this movie's equivalent of losing in Power 1. If you ever played Captain Claw's training tutorial levels, then you'll know just how devastating of an insult that is. He gets pummeled by the rest of the obstacle course when all he had to do is stand still, and even that he sucks at. Later that day, the Five talk mad shit about him while walking up this hill, which he overhears because he was hiding behind this boulder, and they should have saw him walking up if he was hiding behind there, unless he was hiding all the way around and then kept spitting around while they walk around, you know what I mean? Then before bedtime, he unintentionally annoys all of them, then Tiger Bitch straight up tells him to fuck off and that he doesn't belong here. So he goes to Depression snack on some peaches from the sacred peach tree of heavenly wisdom. Master Oogway catches him lacking, so dude swallows all the peaches whole with the fucking seed and all. What a savage animal. He then tells Oogway that he sucked big time today, the Five hate him. He doesn't think Shifu can train him into the Dragon Warrior, and he's thinking about quitting and going back to noodles. So Oogway's like, quit, don't quit, noodles, don't noodles, and gives him the sickest piece of wisdom in all of movie history, basically telling him to take life one day at a time. Next day they wake up and see that Po has left, but then find out no, Po was just stuck trying to do a split. Shifu makes fun of him and makes Tiger show him how it's really done, using a couple of these tiles with the rest of them disappearing between shots to give us another continuity error. Then he pits Po against each of the Five for some more training, gets beat up by all of them with ease, Crane didn't even have to do none. Then he goes up against Shifu himself, who keeps trying to hurt him, trying to make him quit, but Bro is determined as ever to make him proud, which pisses off Shifu greatly. That night the Five are a bit nicer to him and do some acupuncture to relieve some of his pain. Po tells him that he thinks Shifu's trying to get rid of him. They brush it off and tell him that he actually used to smile before Tai Lung, who has achieved Voldemort status in his place, but they tell him his story regardless. See, Shifu found him as a baby and immediately loved him. The kid showed interest in Kung Fu, so Shifu trained him. He got really good really fast and got aspirations to be the Dragon Warrior, but Oogway saw evil in his heart and refused to give him the Dragon Scroll. So Footlong got angry and unleashed his rage on the valley. Shifu couldn't stop him because he loved him too much, and Oogway had to do it and hit him with the smartphone passcode unlock move that factory reset him or fucking disabled him or some shit. Then after Mantis tweaks his facial nerve with another error happening, Shifu, who was trying to meditate, gets interrupted by Zhang, the messenger goose, arriving back from the prison with horrible news that Tai Lung has escaped. See, he'd flown over there with a message of doubling security that the main guard, Warden Rhino guy, scoffed at, claiming that this prison is already secure enough as is, and giving him a tour with a hefty smack on the back to give him some more confidence in the place. But that pops a feather out of his body, having it float down this pit that Tai Lung is at the bottom of. He takes him down there and shows him that Tai Lung is chained up and acupuncture disabled or some shit. Rhino dude taunts him, telling him that Oogway chose a Dragon Warrior that isn't him. Then they leave with Zhang's feather finally settling at the bottom right in front of Tai Lung, who grabs it with his tail that is free, opens up YouTube and watches some lockpicking lawyer videos, then goes to town with it on the contraption on his back, unlocking it, frees himself, and needles pop out and his muscles are free. Somehow, after 20 fucking years or something, this dude has zero muscle atrophy, pulls these weights on his arms, and unchains himself with the crossbows that are being shot at him. Warden notices he's trying to escape and holds Zhang by the neck because he wants to go warn Shifu, but he tells him don't worry, he's not gonna escape. But Tai Lung keeps dismantling all the defenses and defeating all the guards in a very cool but kinda bullshit escape scene. But whatever, animation kids movie, who cares? Eventually, Zhang goes, "We're dead." Honestly, I don't even understand how you're still alive with the Rhino dude grabbing onto your neck like he's hanging from a fucking pull-up bar for like the entire escape, but who cares? Tai Lung cat blows the gates open and lets Zhang fly back to tell Shifu that the real Dragon Warrior is coming home. And now Shifu's pissing his little fox pants, or red panda pants. He is a red panda, right? Hold on. Yep. Wait. Yup. Pipu runs over to Oogway, telling him that he's got very bad news, but Oogway's like, "Oh, Shifu, there is no such thing as bad news, it's just news." But then tells him that his vision was true, and earlier than expected, Tai Lung has escaped from prison and he's on his way right now. So he's like, "Oh fuck, that is bad news. If you do not believe that the Dragon Warrior can defeat him." Are you kidding me? The panda? Then Oogway tells him that choosing him was no accident. As there are no accidents in life, he tells him that he has to let go of his illusion of control, giving him an example of this peach seed, how it will always grow up to be a peach tree, no matter where he plants it. And maybe if he nurtures it and trains it and believes in it, the peach can defeat Tai Lung. He makes him promise that he'll believe in Po and train him right. Then Cherry Blossom petals fall and he's like,
"My time has come. Whoever holds this long stick is gay."
What the fuck? What?
You were always my name.
I was always... What?
Dude gives him a stick, making him the elder statesman of this establishment, and passes away in the most PG-13 way possible. Master Krifu then goes to the students who are eating and goofing off to interrupt them with the horrible news that Tai Thong has escaped and is coming to fuck shit up. Po's the only one that can stop him, and Oogway cannot do it because he has died. Po then tries to run away because he's like, "Me? Defeat Tai Lung? Are you stupid? I didn't sign up for this shit." Shifu stops him, telling him that he has to trust him the way he trusted Oogway. He can train him to defeat Tai Lung, but he's like, "No, you can't. Look at me, I suck. Plus, you're trying to get rid of me." They keep talking like that, poop-de-poop-de-poo, da-da-da-da. The conversation comes to a depressing slow end with no real resolution while the five look on and go off in the night to take Tai Lung on themselves to save the valley. Next morning, Shifu hears some commotion coming from the palace, finds that the Fierce Five have gone, and Po Kung fucking up the kitchen and snacking on everything because he's sad. Then he observes him do a perfect split 10 feet off the ground to get some cookies and figures out how he'll train him. So he takes him up to a mountain or something to a sacred location where Oogway created Kung Fu. He figures that he has to train him using food, but not the way he thinks. He's like, "When you've been trained, you may eat." I assume he won't let him starve and he'll give him the minimum amount of food to survive. And we see a montage of him using the carrot plus stick method of training him, where you dangle a carrot in front of the subject while simultaneously beating the shit out of them with a stick. Quite the innovative method. Eventually, after a while, Po gets really good at Kung Fu, and Shifu claims that he has been trained and he may eat. But it turns out to be a test 1v1ing Shifu over 11 dumplings. Remember that number? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 dumplings. Alright? He finds that out after Shifu steals a couple he was trying to eat. So he slams his fist down, knocking up all the dumplings, which is a retarded idea because Shifu jumps up and eats all of them but one. And if we stop it at just the right moment, we can see that the number of dumplings is still 11, even after Shifu ate 2 of them. How does that work? The math ain't mathin'. Anyway, they have a fun little Kung Fu fight over the last dumpling. The Po eventually wins. Shifu allows him to eat the dumpling, but he throws it back at him, claiming that he's not hungry. No fucking way, bro taught him Kung Fu in 3 fucking days or some shit. Max a week, because if Zhang can fly to the prison in less than a day, then Tai Lung can make it here on foot pretty quick too. Speaking of Taiwanese Chung leopard guy, the Furious Five meet him along the way to the village at this series of rope bridges. They cut the last one while he's coming towards them, but it's too late because he's almost there, so Tigress jumps up and backflip kicks him while they all grab the bridge again so she can fight him on it. He monologues a bit, then they fight a bit, then Crane and Viper go to help her because she's losing. Then Monkey goes to help and leaves Mantis to hold the weight of all this shit alone. They hit him with a gym whip rope move, then tie him up, cut the rope, and jump back to their side thinking they're victorious, but then he spins around the big rock, frees himself, and launches up over to their side and hits them all with paralyzing nerve attack moves. Now, other than leaving a literal insect to hold the ropes, there's a couple more retarded things that happened here. Firstly, why did Tigress not kick him and jump back to their side or have Crane fly up and catch her? That would have eliminated this whole fight. Secondly, Tai Lung kicks Tigress through the boards, ripping the connection between the top 2 ropes and the bottom 2 ropes for the whole damn bridge, and that shouldn't be the case. It should only be for the section that she broke the boards of. And thirdly, why isn't the paralyzing attack move Tai Lung's first move? That's like an easy win cheat move right there. Bro, wasting our fucking time with backflips and ropes and shit. Anyway, he leaves Crane mobile on the to carry the rest of them back to Shifu and Po to strike fear into their hearts. Shifu Kung Fu fixes his students up while claiming that Tai Lung has appeared to gone stronger, then takes Po over to go get the Dragon Scroll because he's now ready to become the Dragon Warrior. He uses the Oogway stick, waves around and does some Kung fuckery that lifts up the cherry blossoms from the water. One of them lands on one side of the Dragon Scroll and that's enough to set it off balance, drop it down so Shifu can catch it with the stick. And by that logic, it must have fallen down a billion times over the years with every slight gust of wind that rolled in. Anyway, he gives Po the scroll that is set to give you super cool powers once you read what's inside. Po opens it and goes, whoa, it's blank. What? Yeah, check it out. No, I'm not worthy to look upon the... Give me that shit. The fuck? Everybody's very amazed and confused at his blank. Po's like, so Oogway was a big old troll after all. Of course I'm not the Dragon Warrior. Shifu's like, nah, he was wiser than all of us, but still. He gets the situation that they're in, so he tells the students to go help evacuate the villagers while he waits and fights Tai Lung himself to give him more time to escape, even though he'll probably die. So they go do that. Po goes back to his dad, super depresso espresso, Gooseman, happy to see his kid anyway, and talks about noodles while they evacuate, which depresses him even more. So to cheer him up, he decides to tell him the secret ingredient to his secret ingredient soup, telling him that the secret ingredient is nothing. What? Yeah, I fucking made that shit up. It's called marketing. See, people are retarded. To make something special, they just have to believe that it's special, which unlocks a deeper hidden meaning in the scroll for Po. Since it's not just blank, but it's also reflective, he figures that it means that you are the special ingredient, believing in yourself makes you special and shit. Then we cut to Tai Lung arriving at the Jade Palace. He meets Shifu, they start fighting each other with Tai Lung talking to him, blaming him for filling his head with dreams of becoming the Dragon Warrior and not standing up to Oogway when he refused to give him the Dragon Scroll. Then he chokes him out with Oogway's stick, breaking it in the process. Then they fight some more. He notices that the scroll is gone. Shifu won't tell him where it is, so he keeps choking him. Then Po shows up to save him, very exhausted from all the stairs, telling him that he's the Dragon Warrior. Tai Lung is in disbelief and keeps making fun of him, then attacks him to take the Dragon Scroll away from him, but Po bounces back at him like an exercise ball. Tai Lung retaliates again and they fight over it while dropping down into the village, Po using his weight to his advantage and harnessing the unrivaled power of bullshit to go with the flow made up moves. Eventually though, he gets smacked into the ground and ground pounded by Thailand dude, who gets the scroll, opens it and finds out that it's blank. He's like, what the fuck? Po gets up and he's like, there is no secret ingredient, it's just you. Tai gets very angry with this explanation and attacks Po with his nerve attack, but all his fat and flabbiness protects him from any other effects. It just tickles him really, and no matter how many times he does it, it doesn't do anything. It's like punching a trampoline, and eventually it backfires on him when Po uses that fucking kinetic energy or whatever to like flip Uno reverse punch him with that power. Another smaller fight breaks out between them that Po utterly dominates by leaning into his strength and the power of bullshit even more. He ends the fight by butt bumping him into a building, then gut launching him into the sky. First name Tai, last name Lung comes down and creates a comedically shaped Tai Lung body hole, which I feel should be a normal crater just like all the other ground impacts in this movie, but the ground could be softer. There's other factors that go into this. I'm not gonna fucking examine and go too deep into this. It's an animation kids movie, who cares? He comes out of the comedic hole, insults Po again, but then Po holds him in the legendary whooshy finger hold that wasn't taught to him by anyone, he just figured out on his own. Also, there's another continuity error with how he holds his finger here, but whatever. Po puts down his pinky finger and sends him to the fucking Shadow Realm. It creates a massive shockwave that everybody feels and sees. Why didn't Shifu use this move on Tai Lung in the fight? Whatever. All the Valley people come back and see Po as the victorious Dragon Warrior. They celebrate him and finally respect him. Then he goes back to see Shifu. Bro's still alive. He tells him that he defeated Tai Lung, which finally brings peace to the valley and to him as well. Then they rest a bit and Po goes, shawarma? Yeah. This movie gets 6 puppies out of 8 baby seals.